Hello everybody, Buddy with Midland, Texas. I shared this meme on Facebook yesterday. It says nobody trashes your name more than someone who's afraid you'll tell people the truth. Okay, and then I wrote up my story, which is incredible, and I got a lot of likes off of it. I think y'all gonna find this just amazing. It's true. I named this 1096 equals modus operandi. Okay, and modus operandi is the way you do crimes. You know, it's your method of doing crimes. A few months before the murder attempt, when I was married to the ex-wife, she sticks her finger in my chest and says, "Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pay for me an apartment. I'm telling everybody that you're crazy." You know, and what she said was, "I made a mistake." She didn't deny it. She admitted to trying to extort money from me. That's on a recording called "Follow the Money." And I said, "Here's what I'm going to do. I'm selling this house and this is over." A few days later, I contacted my realtor, Jeaneen Pruitt, and we listed my home for sale at market value. I had no bidders and it came off the market 2 months before I was shot with my phone lines cut. Okay, that told you that these criminals could have bought my home, but they didn't want to, as they were planning on murdering me and getting it for free. You know, now many people have called for me to sell it while my life is being threatened and crimes are being allowed to be committed against me by corrupt police. I reminded them that it was listed for sale before I was crippled. Okay. My name has been smeared by the millions to cover up the fact that somebody broke into my home, cut my phone lines, and shot me in a cold-blooded, premeditated capital murder attempt, which left me disabled and without a job. This name smearing started on my very first call to the police for a burglary, which was more than a year before the murder attempt. I had noticed that somebody had been inside my home. That's a burglary. This wasn't for anybody in the attic. I didn't even think about that at the time. But Officer Anthony Corson, or Tony Corson, wrote on the police report, possible 1096. 1096 is police lingo for mental patient or crazy. They were already setting me up, and I'm sure they knew about the underground homes in the backyard, the forced prostitution, and the other crimes going on there, and they were covering it up because I lived here. You know, the last homeowner had just died here. Had been murdered as far as I'm concerned. 2 months later, I made my second call for a burglary, and this same officer, Tony Corson, wrote 1096. So that time I was full-blown 1096. That they had already labeled me as crazy. This was falsely labeled. This was my first time to report anybody in the attic. Of course, at that time, I didn't know that the crimes were going on all over Midland, Odessa, and across America. I'm sure this dirty cop did, though. You know, like I said, I've documented more than a dozen in Midland now, over 50 across the nation, and that's the tip of the iceberg. This is a nationwide crime epidemic. I now know that the police falsely label all the crime victims reporting these felonies as 1096, okay? Falsely. So they're falsifying police reports. That's a felony in itself, okay? And there's a whole bunch of them. See, they're hiding it from the public. You know, they don't want everybody to know that they're falsely labeling, ruining all them crime victims' lives, calling them crazy. That's the modus operandi for allowing this organized crime, because that's what it is. Burglary, theft, rape, murder. You know, they're breaking into private homes, and the police are allowing them to do that. That's why there's no arrest. This works because they've been hiding these common crimes from the public with the press helping them. I think it's human trafficking, and I think our police are probably taking bribes. Anthony Corson has now been promoted over internal affairs, so I reported him for intentionally labeling crime victims as crazy. So if I reported him for intentionally labeling crime victims as crazy, then he would be investigating himself. You see the problem? They have all the bases covered. So any report of police corruption, you report it to this corrupt police. That's what you're doing. They promoted a corrupt police into the head of internal affairs. 2 days after I'd survived being shot with my phone lines cut, dirty cop April Chandler, now known dirty cop April Chandler, creates a permanent record and attaches it to my name, claiming that I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. Okay, she made up that lie. Every law enforcement officer that now pulls up my name on the computer sees this bold-faced lie told by April Chandler when I had never been diagnosed with this disease, nor do I have it. She could have said I had AIDS as far as that goes, any disease she wanted. She's just a liar. In fact, I was cleared by mental health at the hospital after these same lies were spread to cover up this near-fatal, violent, premeditated, capital attempted murder. That life-destroying lie was clearly done to cover up this pre-planned failed capital attempted murder, and April Chandler should be charged as such. She should be charged for for assisting with a capital attempted murder. I wondered if she was the shooter, aka would-be killer, because of this. She was the first person dispatched, and so I've really wondered if she wasn't under my home and she pulled the trigger and tried to murder me. About 22 months after the murder attempt, I got served with a bizarre protective order from the ex-wife who hadn't who hadn't seen or talked to in a year and a half. That's not what a protective order is for. She lived over 100 miles away in Lubbock. Okay, so there's no protection needed. Her former boyfriend, Arthur Welch, later stated online on Facebook that he overheard her planning my murder to steal life insurance with her police friend. And we found out that, here the next part, during the court hearing, the ex-wife and her lifelong friend, Detective Rosie Rodriguez, both testified that I was delusional in court. That's perjury. That's another felony. This was because I was saying that people were in the attic, and at that time I didn't have 50 other homeowners documenting and reporting the same crimes as I do now. This resulted in a lifetime protective order. Took away my right to own guns for life is what happened in this just in this bizarre case, in this protective order. And see, in a protective order, you don't get to plead guilty or not guilty. You don't get a jury of your peers. It's a dirty, they take away all your rights is what they do. And so then they take away your Second Amendment rights for life, and over lies told by the ex-wife and her friend that she went to junior high with, elementary school with. And that wasn't enough, name smearing. A guy on YouTube creates a video that has been seen by 2.5 million people calling me crazy. His exact words were insanity diarrhea. He focused on lies told by the ex-wife and her dirty cop friend, Rosie Rodriguez, while omitting the evidence which proves that I'm the crippled victim of a home invasion and capital attempted murder. I'm a crime victim. I have 3 kids, 8 grandkids, and 1 great-grandchild who live under the shame of these lies spread about their granddad when their family, when the truth is all I did was stay home and mind my own business. I made the mistake of reporting crimes to police for which they were involved in. That was, the near fatal. And I think that's what the last homeowner did. He probably called police, reported the same crimes I did, and they murdered him. They tried to murder me. I will spend the rest of my life trying to clear my name and hopefully stop this gang of violent criminals and dirty cops from doing this to another innocent homeowner. And there was the lead. And then I got the proof that backs it up. These are the police reports for the first 2 calls for police. Remember, I was a 27-year company man, homeowner, granddad. I recognized somebody was in my house, and all of a sudden, he must be possibly crazy. That was Anthony Corson. And, obviously, Corson knew about the underground homes, the forced prostitution, little girls being murdered because if they didn't want to prostitute, he knew that was in the backyard. That's why he was intentionally destroying my life with them lies, with the 1096 lies. And then 2 months later, I made my first call for people in the attic, not knowing these crimes were being reported all over Midland, Odessa, and Texas, and the United States. And he says, complainant's 1096. Once again, Anthony Corson, like I said, the current internal affairs officer. So if I reported him today, I want to report this dirty cop named Anthony Corson. Well, you know who he'd go to? The internal affairs, over internal affairs for the Midland Police Department? Anthony Corson. Ain't that they promoted a dirty cop and that's covering up the crimes and murders for the underground homes. And so I'm sure he would cover up probably any dirty cop. That's, because he is a dirty cop. The text on the left is from a recording that the ex-wife and I made, and as you can see, she admits to trying to extort money from me over the crimes at this house. If I refused to pay, then she was going to tell everybody I was crazy. That's what's called extortion. You do this, or I'm going to tell everybody this. So you pay me money, or I'm going to tell everybody this, basically, and it's a lie. So she threatened me, and that's extortion. That's 7 years in prison. On the right-hand side is part of the transcript from the protective order hearing in December 2013, the bizarre protective order hearing. As seen, the ex-wife and her lifelong friend, Detective Rosie Rodriguez, both testified that I was delusional. So I didn't pay the money, okay? I refused to pay the extortion money, and the ex-wife carried out her threat in court with her dirty cop friend. I'm going to show you here. This is a transcript from the recording right here, you know, and that's what me and her are talking. You're going to pay me $100, $1,800, $1,200 a month? I'm going to lie about everything that I've seen. Tell everybody you're crazy. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. The truth is, Greg told me to do it. That's what she said. So Greg told her to try extortion, okay? And here's the transcript from the court. Oh, yeah, Mr. Webb's delusional. And both of them, you know, they went to elementary school together, got their stories together. Yeah, he's just delusional. Well, that's what I did, you know. It was because I didn't pay the extortion money. I wondered if Detective Rosie Rodriguez was planning on getting some of that extortion money. She was obviously involved in helping, you know. I'm going to show the next one. 48 hours after I had survived a premeditated murder attempt, April Chandler, another dirty cop, makes up this lie and calls me a paranoid schizophrenic. I hadn't been diagnosed with that. I don't have that disease. I'm a crime victim that suffered, you know, a crippled crime victim that was home minding my own business when these criminals broke inside my home with guns, cut my phone lines, and shot me. And then Rosie Rodriguez personally tried to have me committed, and this was all going on when I had been cleared by the doctors at the hospital because of their lies. You know, they evaluated me, doctors did, because of these lies being spread that I was crazy, shot myself, all that crap. And I was cleared, you know, but here, these cops, they're destroying my life. Every time a police officer pulls up my house, who's Buddy Webb? Oh, he's a paranoid schizophrenic. No, I'm not. That's a lie by April Chandler, and she was involved in the murder attempt. She was covering up a premeditated capital attempted murder. You know, as I said, she should have been charged. And then this guy on YouTube, he creates this video, and like I said, seen by 2.5 million people. And what he did was take, he took, let me go here. I ain't there. He took lies made by the ex-wife and that dirty cop Rosie Rodriguez. He focused on that, but he never contacted me, and he asked or posted the proof. And here's this video, disturbing tunnels under Texas, and this is a picture of the guy. I hope to see him go to prison someday too, you know. I'm going to see if I can show you 2.5 million views right there. This guy took parts of my video, and then he smeared my name. Insanity diarrhea is what he used. And like I said, this was all to, you know, shame my family, shame my grandkids. Anytime anybody Googles my name, they see this lie, you know. I want to tell you what, Kimberly here, she wrote this on the bottom. She says, there's still a good few honest men with integrity out there, and buddy, you are one of them. These officers and other people are so corrupt in their dark souls, and their lies are catching up with them. God protects his sheep and calls us to preach his word in truth, action, and deed. And you show this every day how you conduct yourself. They will try to smear you because their darkness will be exposed. The lantern shining like criminals being unable to hide their dirty filth. That was very nice. And I said, thank you, Kimberly. They caught me off guard, as I never expected the police to be so evil, criminal, and corrupt. I was a lifelong supporter of police, and of course I had never had a felony. They ruined my life in the worst way when I was literally home and minding my own business. In fact, I was reporting crimes to them. I still don't believe that all police are involved in breaking into homes to steal and kill, but that is what this group seems to be connected with. I said, did you know that when the secret police accidentally got on camera in my house, got caught on camera in my house, this was the first time in the history of America where a crime victim was forced to offer a reward to identify police. That shows how extremely corrupt the Midland police are. Their enemies are the good citizens, and their friends are cold-blooded killers that break into private homes and murder unsuspecting homeowners. I just pray that I can find some real police with some integrity that will stop this murderous gang and their never-ending crimes. I've risked my life providing the evidence. There's plenty of evidence to do it. You know, proof of underground homes, proof I wasn't shot with my gun. I paid to get these cops identified. That was their pictures. They were secret for 6 years. All during this time, break-ins to my house, repeated break-ins to my house, and people going to me, I'd sell that home if I was you, because they've been trying to
terrorize me into selling my home to cover up the crimes and murders here. And that's a violation of the Hobbs Act. They've committed so many crimes here. Here's their names: Rosie Rodriguez, April Chandler. These are the dirty cops. Tony Dickey, he's the one in my house. Greg Chatwell, he was also in my house. Greg Nelson, Marty Barrett, he's a crime scene investigator tampering with evidence in a capital attempted murder. Imagine that. Chad Simpson's now dead. He was a canine police officer. Mike Naylor, Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor, second one to show up, is now dead. Mark Gilliam, Michael Glick. John Woodward was the Martin County Sheriff, and this is Midland County, the first one to arrive at my house minutes after I was ambushed and shot. Wasn't dispatched. Name missing from, omitted from the police report. Another felony. So here, yeah, I told y'all this was an amazing story. These are the dirtiest cops in the history of America. This is Buddy Webb.